Welcome to the Activity Call Live. Now let's hear it for our special guest host, Alex Abuyuan.
All right, gang. Alex Abuyuan coming at you, and we are fired up that I can be here and share with you some of my tools that I've used in my career to help get my mind right. You know, Andy talks about getting your mind right. It's your mind. It is your mind. It's your beliefs about yourself. And we'll go over that. We'll review that. But I went over yesterday how your beliefs can really formulate how you react to things, whether it's dealing with fear or anxiety. Likewise, it does the positive thing too, where it can impact you in a positive way, where you feel empowered and confident, right? And all we're talking about are feelings, you know, and for the person that decides to control their life, that's the person who decides to control their feelings, control their thoughts, control their emotions, right? And if you can do that, you are the master of your own destiny, okay? So I know it's kind of a different background. This is my therapist background. So I want you all to kind of suspend disbelief. Like, you know, I'm going to get a little bit out there, but like I said, everything I'm sharing with you is how I got my mind right. So I'm only sharing with you how I've used this cool technique called neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, to my advantage to overcome the negative emotions that I've experienced in my life that I've brought with me forward. And getting into this business challenged me in so many ways, and I've suffered that paralyzing fear I talked about Wednesday. So I'm going to really dig in. I have more time now, you know, the rest of this time to dig into the tools. So suspend disbelief, okay? Pretend, okay, put yourself into that mode and pretend like everything I'm telling you is true, that everything I'm telling you will work for you because it worked for me. You know, it didn't work for me just because I'm Filipino, right? It didn't work for me just because I've got crazy hair. It didn't work for me because I'm particularly handsome, have nice, olive skin. You know, no, it worked on me because I'm a human being and I'm a child of God. He gave me a brain, and then he taught me ways to short circuit and to do hacks on my brain. So the brain he gave us has so many marvelous things about it. One of which is that you really are in control of your emotions. You really are. I mean, what's amazing is how I can prove this to you, okay? Again, suspend disbelief and then just kind of walk with me with this. So what I want you to do is I want you to think back to, if you're married, think back to your wedding day, okay, with your current spouse. What I want you to do is I want you to go back in time to that point where you are looking into her eyes, you're looking into his eyes, and you're exchanging vows. And think about what that felt like when you were looking at each other and you were totally committing your lives to each other for the rest of your life. You were going to create a life with this person for the rest of your life. This was going to be the only person you're ever going to kiss in that way. This is the only person you're going to share your dreams and goals with. This is the person you're going to share your suffering with. This is the person you're committed to. Now, I want you to think about not only how it felt, but think about the situation. Think about the people around you. There's this picture, is it a colorful picture for you? What did it sound like? Was there music playing in the background as you as a bride were walking up to join your spouse, your future spouse? The sights, how everything was decorated, how the groomsmen were dressed and how the bridesmaids were dressed, the colors that you chose for your wedding. And then look at the front row. Your parents were there, her parents, their spouse's parents were there, your family, your loved one, everyone was around you watching you. You are the king and queen for the day. And come back to that feeling of that time, right? Immerse yourself in that situation. You are there staring into your spouse's eyes, reciting your vows. Now think about how you feel right now about that. How do you feel right now when you think about that situation? I'm thinking about my wife, Jenny, and she amazing. She looked at me when she came down that aisle, that feeling in my heart, like this is the person that has accepted me to be her spouse. And I'm sitting there like my heart is pounding with just love and joy, that love feeling where your heart is just kind of, you know, pumping and it's got that warmth inside you. And I'm watching her looking at me coming up the aisle, her father escorting her, her veil over her face. I mean, So how do you feel? How do you feel right now? Let's take you to another situation. Those of you who have children, take me back to, like, close your eyes and visualize yourself back to the birth of your first child. You know, you'd never been to a birth before. Typically, I wasn't. And I remember being there, being with Jenny. I was like behind her, actually. She was propped up on my legs. And when our daughter Zoe came out, that feeling when the doctor put her on Jenny's chest, it's like, wow. There's so much involved, so much emotion. The temperature of the hospital room. We were playing James Taylor. How that feels, what that felt like. This is called classic change of state, where I took you from coming in. Here's another activity call. I'm supposed to be on it. My upline is going to text me, are you on this awesome activity call with Alex Abuyuan? And I'm going to text back yes, because I don't want to lie. You know, you're just getting out of bed. You know, you should have been rolled out 2 hours ago, but, you know, you're drinking your coffee, you're in the car, you know. Now you're thinking about the birth of your first child, you're thinking about your spouse, and all of a sudden these feelings. It's called change of state. This is how you know you can control your emotions, right? So I'm going to cover some of these things and giving you very specific tools on how you can get rid of negative emotions, how you can instantly bring back positive emotions, literally like that, with a touch of a button. It's like pressing a button and boom, positive feelings come back that negate any negative. And it's a really powerful tool, okay? So again, I'm in this mode of changing state. So I want to further change your state and get you into the mode of being open to listening to this and maybe perhaps using these tools to your advantage. Like I said, it helped me, baby. I know if it's going to help me, this crazy Filipino that's got anger issues and, you know, imposter syndrome, all these things that I've grown up with, you know, maybe it'll help you. Okay, so let me share my screen. All right, gang, man, that fires me up. Again, change of state. I want to get you fired up about what you're going to learn today. And here's what I would love for you. This is my prayer for you. My prayer for you is that you have this outcome today, that you're going to change your life using these tools, that you're going to visualize a different you. When you come to stage of success, you're going to come with the expectation of being a different you from now to then. And then that will transform you. That you'll use these tools to be a different you, a powerful you, someone who's empowered to create awesome things, to build a great life for you and your family. I want you to hear the people cheering for you when you receive that executive board member ring, your agency manager ring. I want you to hear the sounds of people getting off their seat and seeing you go up there and feeling Andy and Jane Albright put that ring on your finger, and then you are putting your fist out, showing the audience that you are worthy because of the work you put in. You are deserving of the applause, of the recognition, because you poured your blood, sweat, and tears into this business. And you use these tools to get rid of all the people, all the negative that says you can't do it, and you replaced it with positive feelings of power, that you can do it, you will do it. There is no tomorrow, there's today. And I'm going to make today make my tomorrow so much better. That feeling inside your gut that you're the one that made it happen. You're the one that charted your destiny. You're the one that controlled your emotions. That's my wish for you after this is over, and hopefully we'll get there. So let's give you some of these tools. So fear is not a bad thing. All right, gang. So let's just kind of get that straight. Fear is an important thing. God put fear into us that we, go outside of our dwelling, that we're not going to be eaten by a lion, right? That we're going to make sure that, so we, when we start worrying about those things, thousands of years ago, that we don't got to worry about now, that fear impulse is still there. But the fear impulse is important. It protects us, right? It protects us from stepping off a curb without looking both ways. This is why we teach our kids, hey, son, before you step off a curb and cross the street, look left and look right, then look left and then look right again. Make sure no one's going to run your butt over. So fear is important in that it protects us. Fear can also be used to motivate you, right? The fear of living an unimportant life, a fear of being insignificant, a fear of being broke, a fear of being homeless. It can motivate you, but fear taken to the extreme could also paralyze you. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Why does it paralyze you? So here's the other aspect of fear. Fear can be an analyst if you examine the fear that you're feeling. right? The fear that is within your control. You could be the analyst. Fear can be the analyst for you if you ask the right questions. And this is the power of being able to control that emotion. See, our thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs determine how we feel and behave. See, these cognitions are not fixed. We can change them. God gave you the power to control your emotions. He gave you not only free will, but he gave you the power to control. The enemy, the ruler of the world, wants you to be stuck in the same thoughts and patterns, right, that hold you back. The ones you grew up with, all the lies that you've been told growing up, the lies you've been telling yourself about what you can really accomplish, the lies that feed into your fear. So let's go back to where these emotions come from. Circumstance X, this is what happens to you. And then what happens to you, how do you react to it, is based on your memories and your beliefs. Everything that's been told to you, everything that you've learned to believe about yourself through all the negative situations and positive situations, your brain creates a pattern. It creates a pattern of all these things that have happened to you. So it creates this natural response to these circumstances, these events, or these triggers. We call triggers. Because what happens after it goes through that filter is it creates thoughts, and thoughts create feelings, and feelings create actions, and actions create results. So if you want a positive result, what actions are you taking? Why are you taking those actions? It's because you feel a certain way. Where do those feelings come from? It comes from your thoughts. Where do you get those thoughts? It comes from your beliefs about yourself, your experience. That's where it all comes from. So I'm going to give you some tools that have helped me take care of those beliefs and memories and how I feel about those triggers that trigger fear and anxiety in me. So here's a way to really identify the fear. One thing is, the 11th commandment is, thou shalt not fooleth thyselfeth. I forgot what book it's in. You know, there's Proverbs about hanging out with fools. You hang out with fools, you won't be a fool. Know what I'm saying? Anyway, the Gospel according to Alex, thou shalt not fooleth thyselfeth. So you got to identify the fear, man. Have you ever really looked into why you respond a certain way? Like, I'll tell you, I'll share something, a personal story with you. You know, maybe we'll bring it home to you, because I want you to understand me, right? I want you to understand things that I've battled. So back when I was a kid, I was born in Africa, in Morocco, right? And my dad was in the U.S. Navy, and he married my mom, and he was stationed over there in Morocco. So that's where I was born. Myself and my sister, a year later, you know, I'm a honeymoon baby, okay? I always got to count. My parents were married in January. I was born in October, and I thought counting the case, I was probably a honeymoon baby. Anyway, bottom line is, so when my dad was stationed in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, there was a Navy base there, and so I remember going to school in kindergarten, and I remember swinging on a swing, and these kids, I don't know how they found out. Well, I think I told them, you know, I was born in Morocco. You're born in Africa? And I remember swinging on the swing crying, because these kids were like circling around me saying, jungle boy, you're a jungle boy. They were like putting me down, man. Every time I think about that time, man, I get those feelings that I've replaced. Okay, the feelings I used to feel about that was feeling of being inadequate, of prejudice, right? Prejudice of being, you know, thought poorly of because of where I was born, right? And I look different than them. Filipino, right? Born in Africa, you know. That's why I identify as African American. You know what I'm saying? Probably more African American than some of y'all out there. Anyway, I make that joke because it is a joke now. But I used to take that serious. And so through my life, I've always had this hatred for prejudice. Always had this hatred for people, thinking about other people because the color of their skin or where they were born. I have this big streak of justice within me, right? Like if you ever took that Strength 2.0 by Angela Duckworth, that book, one of the number one things is justice for me. I always want justice, fight for justice for people, especially people that, you know, people of color, honestly, right? I'm not skirt around that. So I remember so I've carried that with me. I remember in first grade, there was some kids at our school that were making fun of this black boy. I was a little bit older. I forgot what grade I was in. I was older than he was. And they were picking on him. And I remember going in there, and I remember fighting these people off this kid. I said, get away from doing this to him. You know, there was some racial stuff, because this is back in Oakland, California, right? You know, you had some of these, white kids making fun of this black kid. And so I got into a fight with this one kid that was like picking on this one white kid. I remember punching him, and then I took this black kid's hand and we ran away from them. I remember kind of putting my arms around him. We were walking. I walked him home because he was crying and stuff like that. I said, "It's going to be okay, man. It's going to be okay." And those kinds of things really informed the rest of my life. And so those emotions have really impacted me. And when I went through this process of changing my emotions to that, I changed it from feeling inferior to someone else to the feeling of, I'm going to show those suckers that I'm going to be successful in spite of what they thought about me. So anytime I came on a challenge, my mindset was, I changed that feeling of inferiority to the feeling of, I'm going to show them. I'm going to prove to them that I'm more than what they think I am. And that has fueled me through so many things that empowered me to do more, because I was proving to those suckers that I could make it. So through my spiritual process, I've learned to forgive them because they didn't know what they were doing, right? So it used to be hatred. Now that hatred has turned to feeling sorry for them the way they feel. And I pray that they've changed their minds since then as little kids, that they're not continuing to be racist, right? So if you ever hear me talk, you'll hear a lot of that maybe come out, that I seek justice for people that can't get justice for themselves. So that's just an example of how understanding my feelings and where they came from caused me to propel myself forward beyond that hurt and fear, right? My hatred of prejudice has caused me to seek justice for people. So that's kind of how I'm hooked up. So let me go back to how do you identify where those feelings come from? And what's really interesting is a lot of times the initial feeling isn't what you think it is. Like the feeling is there, but it's not coming from where you think it's coming from, right? And this is how a thought diary will help you figure that out. This is one of the most powerful things I think that I can share with you. And the kind of the mnemonic to think about is ACB. Okay, it's not ABC, ACB. A stands for activating event. What triggers that negative response in you? And then consequences. What are the consequences in you from that activating event? Then finally, how does that impact your beliefs? What creates that belief in you from those consequences and activating event? And what you do is you journal this, you write these down, you ask yourself these specific questions. What is the activating event that makes me feel this fear? What caused this fear? Like some of y'all, it's getting a stack of leads and you got your cell phone in front of you, you got your leads in front of you, you got your activity book to your right if you're right-handed, or your activity book to the left if you're left-handed, and you're staring at all this. And that anxiety starts welling inside you. You start feeling that feeling in your stomach. That's where it happens for me, right? And then you start feeling the blood kind of rush from your head, where your ears start tingling a little bit, and your fingers, for me, I'm describing mine. This could be the same for you. There's a tingling in your feeling. And then one of the automatic things that I do is I rub my lap with my hands, right? Because my hands start getting cold, okay? Like, am I describing similar things to you? So the trigger is important, but what does it cause? What are the physical events? Now, these triggers could be a physical event, like sitting in front of your leads, or it could be a thought that comes into your mind, like coming up to the house on your first appointment, and your thought is, you're driving up, it's like, I've never done this before, and there are things I've never done before that has scared me. This scares me, right? Or a memory or a mental image. The activating event could be different things. So you write down what that activating event is. What is the trigger? Then the next thing you do is you detail the consequences of that trigger. What are the specific emotions you're feeling? It could be fear. It could be anxiety. Well, the typical ones I think about is, I'm not enough for this. I didn't study enough. I'm not prepared enough. I am not enough for this situation, right? The specific emotions that go inside you that you're thinking about. And then write down, document all those sensations about how you're, like, sometimes I'll go into tunnel vision where everything kind of just fades into this tunnel that I'm staring down, right? Where do you feel that sense of fear? Is it in your stomach? Is it in your chest? Is your heart beating faster? Are you breathing faster, right? Are the sounds starting to disappear where you don't hear anything except for the sound of the beating of your heart, right? Am I kind of bringing a little bit of anxiety to you because you start feeling these sensations, but you need to document and write these down on a piece of paper? Because what's powerful about writing everything down is that it creates distance from these emotions from you. When you identify them, it's identify the fear, identify the monster under your bed. Look at the monster, write down and describe the monster in all the detail using your five senses. See, this is the power that God gave us, is that he gave us the power to assimilate the world through our five senses, right? Our feelings, our sight, the sounds, right? The smells, the touch. Through all our feelings, how we make sense of the world. And that's how these feelings get reenacted in your body. Write them down. Then ask yourself the questions of, how did this happen to me? Why does this trigger cause me to feel this way? How do you link the activation event to the consequences? Because this will lead you to the unconscious narrative or story about yourself that you believe about yourself, that you tell yourself, that achieve these same consequences. What leaps in logic or conclusions were being made to get you to your current negative state, right? So as an example, you're not good on the phone because the previous IMO you're with had you dial some really old crappy leads, and you tried dialing, and every time you dialed, you just still got the same thing over and over again. You didn't give yourself a shot at getting better leads or getting better training, or maybe they never coached you. And so you think this script, Alex, I used the same script and didn't work. Well, maybe the script didn't work, or maybe how you're saying the script didn't work. See, there's a lot of coaching things, but all you're depending on is the feeling from dialing the leads, right? And so you're making this link that my dialing leads means that I suck. So every time I suck dialing leads, I'm going to have this feeling of being a loser, this feeling of anxiety that this doesn't work for me. But then you join us and you think, okay, maybe I got a shot, right? And then you dial your first set of leads and it's like, oh, here we go again. You start leaping to the conclusion that you suck, when in fact, you don't suck. You just are not skilled enough at creating success. So now what we teach you in the Alliance is call your upline. See, when you try to call your upline before, they never would return your call because they were in the field themselves. They would never had time for you. They didn't care enough about you. Well, at the Alliance, we care enough about you to answer the phone. If we can't answer, we're going to return your call, and then we're going to coach you. Hey, I hear how you're saying the script, dude, but you gotta do it better than that. Let's practice. This is how I do it, right? And we're going to coach you up. We're going to change the outcome. But see, this is what you tell yourself. This is a narrative that you fed yourself this entire time you've been in the insurance business. You got to stop it, or we're going to bury you in a box alive, right? So let's talk about getting to the bottom line of your core beliefs. You got to ask yourself these questions. What was I thinking when this happened? What was going through my head when this happened? What was wrong with how I was thinking about this? And what does this all mean? What does this say about me? What does this reveal about me? That I'm so quick to make generalizations about me? Remember those 3-4 things I talked about, how your brain tries to make sense of the world. It makes assumptions, generalizations, it causes distortions and distractions. All these come into play when you start creating negative core beliefs about yourself that are not true, right? And then the bottom line is, how I'm feeling even rational? Like how I'm feeling the fear about dialing leads. Is that a rational fear? Because when you think about it, am I going to die from a 68-year-old yelling at me and cussing at me over the phone? No. Do I care about what this 68-year-old thinks about me? No. They don't know me. So why would I even care what they think about me? I'm just trying to help them, right? It's like asking someone, do you want ketchup or mustard on your hot dog? And they say, I don't want any of it. I just like it neat. I like my hot dog neat. You're not going to go jump off a bridge because they didn't take your mustard or ketchup. Is your fear even rational? So detail this. This is important. First step in understanding your fear, identifying it, understanding why it's causing what is causing the feelings within you, and then getting to the core of why you feel that way, because these things will trigger a response, but you don't know why it triggers a response. It's like the guy that sits there, he's talking to his girlfriend, right? Or this girl he's interested in. He's having this conversation, and then his buddy Joe comes in and kind of butts in on the conversation, starts talking, and you're like angry. Joe's your best friend, but you're getting angry. Not like he's making moves. He's not making, he's just being Joe. And you're getting mad, you're getting upset, you're going, And when you think about, if you go through the sex ed, you think about, am I mad at Joe? No, Joe's my best friend. What am I mad about? I'm mad that he butted into our conversation. Yeah, I'm mad about that. But what else am I mad about? Is that really it? Because I had other people butt in a conversation. And when you start writing down these feelings and where it comes from, you start realizing, it's not Joe. It's me thinking about, I'm not good enough for this. I don't deserve this person's affections. I am not willing to stand up and take over the conversation and tell Joe, hey, Joe, hey, listen, man, Alicia and I are just having a conversation. Hey, man, appreciate you coming by. Good to see you. Standing up for yourself. See, you're feeling these feelings because you're not standing up. You're being walked on like a doormat again and again and again. And it's that feeling of inadequacy. And you're mad not at Joe. You're mad at yourself because you aren't standing up for yourself. And those feelings of not being enough. Do you see where if you drill down even further, it's not Joe you're mad at, it's you're mad at because of how you're reacting to Joe, that you're not standing up. It's so important to do this because how you get there, identifying the belief that's hindering you and limiting you, is the key to being able to control it. So what I'm going to help you do, hopefully, is help you challenge those beliefs by isolating them through that ACB process. And then I'm going to give you 3 tools that help me change my beliefs and how I feel. So these are all NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. This to me is the cheat codes. If you want to, how you're playing a video game and you want to know all the cheat codes, how do you get to level up to the next level? You buy the book, okay? I know, don't be proud, man. Don't think you're going to figure out how to get to the next level without using the cheat code book. You get the book and you read it and you know the cheat codes now. God gave you a cheat code, and these NLP tools, I'm telling you, gang, are keys to how you do this. In fact, the book, I think Jeff Bright talks about it for all the B people out there, the book on inner excellence. Number 1, you can read between the lines. I've read that book. It's written by an NLP guy, okay? Number 1. Number 2, this guy's Christian too. He doesn't say it, but it's all over there. You see the fingerprints on it, right? Anyway, he's an NLP. So a lot of these motivational speakers telling you they use NLP, they just don't want to give you the cheat code on how you could do what they're doing, right? It's their secret. So here's our first tool, this tool of disassociating. It's called the movie scenario. So I want you to walk through this with me. I want you to, close your eyes or sit in a room, like if you're driving, cool, whatever, watch this video back. So I want you to think of the fear. Think about that fear that's holding you back, that's stopping you, right? Now, some of y'all have fear, but you can get past it. I'm not talking about that fear. I'm talking about the fear that paralyzes you. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to see yourself in that fear situation as an image in your mind, like watching a movie. Like go into the mode of closing your eyes and reenacting yourself in that fear situation as if you're watching a movie. Now, you see the screen, the theater screen. It could be a huge screen in an IMAX theater. It could be your 46-inch or 65-inch, HD, super HD TV. You're sitting on your couch and it occupies a space in your field of view. Now, is that TV screen, that theater screen, is it high? Is it low? Is it center? Are you looking down at it? Okay, this is important. In your imagination, where do you see this image? The next one is this movie in black and white or is it in color? Some people, some people don't imagine in color. Others imagine in color very vividly. Right? So if you imagine in black and white or color, are the colors rich and vibrant or are they muted? If you're doing it in black and white, is the contrast super high contrast or is the contrast kind of muted where everything kind of blends in gray? Do you see this movie in color? You're playing this in your mind. And then that fear starts coming up. Where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your stomach? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it in your fingertips? Right? Do you feel it in your ears? What are the different types of feelings that you feel? The tingling in your fingers, that sick feeling in your chest, like you're going to throw up, that nausea. It's not nausea, but it's like nausea. You know what I'm talking about? It's like in your solar plexus. For me, it's in the middle of my body, underneath my solar plexus where it starts emanating, right? Does it have weight to it? Is it like this heaviness in your chest, or is it light, or is there no weight to it at all? Identify a weight if there is a weight to it. Is there a temperature? Is it hot? Is it cold? For me, it's this burning feeling that starts to emanate inside my body. Right in that solar plexus area. Does it vibrate? Is it grinding? Is it moving? Do you feel it kind of circulating inside you? So now that you've felt these and you're seeing this play in your mind, guess what? You're in control. You get to edit the movie. I'm telling you, this is one of the most effective ways I've ever stomped down those feelings of anxiety that I'm not enough, those feelings of fear. So change each feeling to the opposite feeling. Like if there's this temperature, like if you're feeling this hotness, dial it back. In your memory, dial it back to where it's room temperature. You don't feel it. Or if it's cold, warm it up to where it's room temperature. If the colors are vibrant about this fear, mute the colors to black and white, right? If it's already in black and white, you're halfway there. Now change the contrast to where it kind of blends into gray, right? Manipulate the movie. You are in control of the movie, because as you start manipulating the images of how it affects you, what happens is the feelings start fading. It's like changing the brightness on your screen. Changing it bright does something, dimming it down does something else, right? It changes the feeling. What you're doing is you're manipulating what you're seeing and feeling and hearing to manipulate the feeling. Because the feeling manifests these feelings, it triggers these feelings inside you physiologically. Now you're controlling the physiology of it to control the feeling. It works both ways. That's the beauty of NLP, is that one affects the other, but you can affect the other to affect the one thing. And that's what we're doing here. Change the color, move to black and white or gray. Change where you feel the fear to another part of your body. Change it to your wrist, and then change it to your fingertips, and then touch something, touch your desk, and the feelings disappear into the desk. It's no longer in you. Change the weight of it. If it feels like a heaviness, it starts becoming lighter and lighter to where it's a weight of a feather. Dial the temperature back. If it's vibrating, feel this vibrating grinding, it starts to fade away to where there's no movement at all. Now, as you're playing this movie and you're muting everything and everything's changing and your feelings are changing, now change the movie screen from 65 inches to 45 inches to 36 inches to 24 inches. And now this moving screen is you're moving away from it to where it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller to where it's the size of a pinhead. And all of a sudden, poof, it's gone. And what's left is you no longer feeling those feelings. Again, you are the editor of your own movie. This is one of the most effective techniques I've used in shrinking the movie in my mind to where it's nothing. Because when the movie's nothing, then the feeling is nothing, and the fear doesn't control me any longer. It's a great exercise. Do it several times to really lock it down. Okay, so here's the second tool. It's very similar, tool of disassociation. This one has really helped me with some other things. Like using different techniques will work, Sometimes you have to use one that'll work for one thing, another for another thing. But this one, mega effective. Because in my mind, I've played this movie. So I call it the room with the windows. So imagine you're in a room with large windows, like these big picture windows where, some of these rooms, the entire walls are glass, right? And you're inside this room. You are inside this room. You look out and you see the exterior outside of this room, right? And you're looking through and you're sitting at your desk and you're anxious, feeling the fear. You're looking at these leads, or you're anticipating a phone call from your lawyer because you just got sued, or got sued because of road rage because you got off on somebody and now they're suing you. And you're sitting waiting for the phone call because your lawyer's going to give you a call. And he's going to tell you, what is this going to cost you? And you're sitting churning because you've never been sued before, and you're sitting at your desk wondering, oh my gosh, right? And you're feeling this in every part of your body, the way that you described it before, that tingling in your fingers, that pit in your stomach, the weight of that, the temperature emanating, the sounds that you're hearing in this room. Is this room dark or light? Is this nighttime or daytime? Is the sun shining through this window? Is the room full of bookshelves? Is it leather chairs? Is the room warm or is it cold? Does it have a smell of old books and leather furniture? Describe this room that you're sitting in, and you are inside, sitting on this desk, waiting for that phone call from your lawyer, or staring at your leads, and this feeling is inside you. You got that? You're inside the room. Now suddenly you're outside the room. You're outside of the room, outside the window, staring at yourself, sitting at the desk, and you're seeing yourself going through this agony of anxiety and fear, but you're outside the room, not feeling anything. You're observing yourself going through this, but it's not you. It's that person inside that looks like you going through those emotions, but you're outside observing. You're just taking note. You're not feeling anything. You're feeling actually pretty neutral. You're not feeling anything. You're a total observer now. As you walk outside the room, going from window to window, you're circling around, looking at yourself inside the room at all the different angles, right? You still feel nothing as you walk and observe yourself inside the room from the outside. And then on this balcony of this room, you see stairs, and you take one last look at yourself in the room, and then you look towards the stairs because you see that the stairs are going to take you to the beach below. You walk down the stairs and you walk towards the beach, and you feel the sun shining, you hear the waves coming in, and you know what beaches do to me and do to you. It gives you that calmness. It makes you think that this is really cool, and you have this warmth that comes over you. It's called stepping out of the room. I love that one, man. That one really works for me. All right, so that's the first tool, is disassociation. The second tool is anchoring. Anchoring, oh man, I only have 10 minutes. I want to get through this. Anchoring rocks, man. So what you want to do first, you want to pick an anchoring event. Think about something in your past that caused you to feel the most confident, the most empowered, the most victorious in your life. The things that you just really felt the best, the most empowered. Now describe that event using all your senses, putting yourself back in that exact same situation, right? That situation of victory. Was it bright? Is it in color? What are the sounds you hear? Are you hearing people cheer for you because you did something on stage that you were recognized for? Does it have that certain smell? Like if you won a championship in basketball with your team, you hear the crowd screaming. I remember doing that last minute shot. I didn't take it, but it was the other guard took the shot and we won this championship. Man, the screaming of the crowds, that feeling of victory, that smell of the gym. How exactly were you feeling in that moment? Describe the people around you, the things around you. Use all your senses, involve all your senses. And as I describe this, are you feeling it right now? Are you feeling it as you visualize it? And so what you want to do with that is you want to choose an anchor. What's an anchor? An anchor is a way to recreate that feeling again by attaching it to something. So using your senses, like it can be aroma oil. Like you can buy an aroma oil like mint or lavender or something, where every time you smell it, it's your anchor. Or you can choose a physical touch point. Like I know Andy Albright does this. I do this myself, is I fist pump my chest. And that brings back this feeling of confidence and power. Before I go up to speak on stage, I touch my chest. You'll see Andy do it. It's interesting. He does the same thing because it brings back that feeling of power instantaneously. Or squeeze the skin between your forefinger and thumb on your left hand. Something that is a physical touch point. Or maybe it's a sound or song. Maybe it's a bell that you ring. Or maybe it's a song that you play to while you're doing this. Or a totem that you can touch in your pocket. You know, the Alliance coin. Something that you can touch that brings back that feeling. A picture, it could be a picture. And so how do you set the anchor? In the morning or at night, you find a relaxed area where you can close your eyes and bring back the anchoring event that brings back those feelings. When you feel at the height of that event, where you're the most powerful, the most confident, then you activate the anchor. You put the fist to your chest, or you tug your ear, or you touch that skin between your forefinger and thumb, or you smell that smell from that little bottle of aroma. Those feelings from that event to the trigger or to the anchor. Take a sniff, and then as you're doing it, say a code word like power. When you're doing it, when you're fist bumping your chest and you're feeling those feelings, and then say power, power. I do it 2 times, power. Awesome. I'll give you my word, rockin', but associated with the word, and then do it several times for 10 or 20 minutes, every morning or every evening for like 10 days, 7 to 10 days, until you set the anchor. And then what you do is you test the anchor, and what it will do is you won't have to go to that recreation of the image anymore. Immediately the anchor will come back. So if you fist bump your chest, the feeling of power and confidence comes back immediately. Or when you smell that lavender smell, immediately you come back to that feeling of power and confidence. This is such a powerful thing to do, gang. I promise you. And then sometimes you have to reset the anchor. Sometimes you'll feel it fade, so you go back to the same exercise to do it again. One of the most powerful things you can do. Then the third tool is future pacing. This is an easy one. Think about the next time this trigger event will happen. Like you got done dialing leads, you're going to start dialing leads tomorrow. Think about that. Now put yourself in the future in that situation, knowing that that trigger event's going to happen again. Or maybe it's seeing an ex-spouse at a family reunion. And you know that feeling it brings up. Okay, what is that trigger? When is it going to happen? Imagine yourself in that same situation, the sights, sounds, the room, all the feelings about it. Now see yourself when the trigger event happens. What happens? How do you handle it? Do you see yourself using your anchor to cancel out the negative feelings, to bring out the positive feelings? Can you see yourself perform the same positive feelings that you have of power and confidence? This is called future pacing. See yourself in the future using these tools and practicing. You got to practice several times before that future thing happens so you can rehearse in your mind how you're going to think about it, how you're going to act about it. Now, some of y'all, my Christian friends out there, Alex, it sounds like a bunch of hocus pocus. No, it ain't. Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the pattern of the world, the pattern that Satan puts in your head, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The renewing. We're talking here, gang, of you renewing your mind, renewing the beliefs about yourself to control your emotions. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. I like that, Marcus Richardson. I know some of y'all, when's Alice going to start bringing Jesus back into the conversation? Okay. So now we're here at the fork in the road, or you can go down the road of faith. Faith that this stuff works. Faith that you have inside you what God put in you to overcome this stuff. Are you going to be a Nicodemus? Or are you going to be a Peter?
God loves the world in this way, that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life.
So this has nothing to do with Rome. It's all about sin.
God did not send his Son into the world to condemn it, Nicodemus. He sent him to save it through him.
The healer. My whole life I have wondered if I would see this day.
Follow me, and you'll see more.
Follow you?
Join me and my students. In 2 days' time, we leave Capernaum. Come see the kingdom I am bringing into this world.
But I can't.
You have a position in the Sanhedrin. You have family. You are getting advanced in years. I understand. But the invitation is still open.
The invitation to what exactly? To lead a nomadic life, to give up who I am.
It's true. There is a lot you would give up. But what you would gain is far greater and more lasting. Blessed are all who take refuge in him.
My brother and the baptizer. You are the Lamb of God, yes?
I am.
Depart from me. I am a sinful man. You don't know who I am and the things I've done.
Don't be afraid, Simon.
I'm sorry. We've waited for you for so long, we believe. But my faith, I'm sorry.
Lift up your head, fisherman.
What do you want from me? Anything you ask, I will do.
Follow me.
I will.
See, Nicodemus didn't want to give up. He's afraid of giving up his position, afraid of what people thought about him. Peter said, I will. What are you going to do? The fork of the road for you is to either believe that the stuff I'm teaching you today will work for you, or go about your business and keep dealing with the anxiety and fear that the enemy has put inside you. It's up to you, but you get to make that choice. You get to make that choice of empowering yourself to overcome all the crap, because you know what's holding you back? It's not events. It's not the world. It's you. You are holding yourself back. You can decide to have faith and come out to the event, stage to success, or you can wallow in fear and not come. And you know what? That decision will continue to be the same decision you make every time when you're confronted with becoming better or staying where you're at in your comfort zone. But Alex, I keep coming to these things and my results don't change. Dude, do we say stop going to events if it doesn't work? You have to keep going to events because it's not working for you, because you're not doing something that other people are doing to make it right. But I'm doing everything that, no, you're not, because if you were, you'd get the results. And maybe it's the fear that's holding you back. God did not give you a spirit of fear. You were born with the power of faith. And I'm just asking you to have a little faith in what God put inside you. And now I've given you tools, the hack codes to hack into that faith, to change the beliefs about yourself so you can change your emotions, challenge those beliefs that give you negative emotions, and turn those emotions into positive emotions of power, of confidence, of you being able to make something of yourself in this world, that God called you to become way better than where you are right now. And it's a lifetime journey, gang. It's a lifetime journey. If you don't ever master this now, when are you going to master it? Because I promise you, 5 years from now, you're going to be at a situation. You are going to come to a situation. And the question you're going to ask yourself is, who am I going to be 5 years from now? Because you're going to be there, but are you going to be better? Are you going to be there knowing that you've controlled all the negatives in your life to be empowered to do all the positive things? It's just a decision away to instantly change your mind, to instantly change your future, to instantly change the future of other people, just by making the decision, stepping out in faith and coming to stage to success, coming to our events, believing in your upline, believing in Andy Albright, believing in the alliance, that we've got the answers for you, as long as you're willing to ask the questions and come and then change it. Snap of a finger, change. That's an auditory cue, isn't it? Change. Anyway, gang, it's my pleasure, my honor to share with you. I hope you got something out of this. And, if you want to have personal counseling with me, I charge $500 an hour. And just kidding. Anyway, God bless everybody. Appreciate you. Love y'all. And I hope this helps. Take care. God bless.